Hello all and welcome to Duplicate Success International Monday Night Webinar. Today is Monday, March 14th. My name is Randy Crebs, Executive Goal Director from Salt Lake City, Utah. I have the distinct honor of introducing the host of tonight's webinar. He is a very well-respected business leader and mentor in this industry. You'll definitely want to have your pen and papers out, sitting up, paying attention, and taking notes as you learn how this industry expert continues to build his business successfully. He has achieved the rank of Executive Ruby Director within our company. He is the co-founder of Duplicate Success International. He is an amazing leader, mentor, and most importantly, I'm very proud to call him my son. Jared, are you on the line?
I am, Dad. Thank you so much for the great introduction. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, welcome everybody to the webinar. We have a very special guest that's going to be training us tonight, and I want to get right into it. I first of all want to welcome all of our new people that are on the webinar for the first time, especially the new associates. And I just want to remind you of the DMO. This stands for Daily Method of Operation. If you do these 4 things, you're going to be successful in your business. And so we do them every single day. Number 1, get in state. Read your goals and visualize your dreams twice daily with emotion. I keep my goals written down and actually on little note cards in my bathroom. Every time I brush my teeth, I read those in the morning and at night, and it keeps me focused on my why. It's very important to do that. Number 2, use the products every day, AM and PM. Be a product of the product. When you're feeling great, you're going to attract great people. And number 3, read, watch, or listen to 15 minutes of personal development material daily. Something to help you build your skill set in network marketing, or your belief in yourself, or belief in the company, belief in the products. 15 minutes minimum of studying something to improve yourself, because that will affect number 4, which is adding 2 brand new people to your contact list and invite them with a text message or phone call. And 2 a day will bring freedom your way. If you're constantly adding 2 to 5 new people and inviting them, sending them videos, inviting them to mixers, you're going to start to create enrollments. And so this is a little script that we use at the bottom here. I'm going to zoom in for you. It's right here. It says, the company I work with part-time came out with a new 12-minute YouTube video. We need to practice it on some friends. Would you be willing to watch it and let me call you afterwards to ask a few quick questions? This little script works amazing. I copy paste this and I send it twice a day to new people. And then I send them the 12-minute video and I start the process. So I want to encourage you to do that at least twice today, even after this webinar, if you haven't already. And you'll start to see people learn about USANA, ask questions, and then before you know it, you start to enroll new associates and clients. And this is the video that we use, usana.teamdsi.info. There's actually a new link that's called thisisusana.com. We'll be changing to that. But this 12-minute video is great because it explains all about USANA for your new person. And so now we're going to give some recognition to our associates who enrolled new clients in this past week, because they are doing the DMO. It's very clear because they're bringing on new people each and every week. So first of all, I would like to welcome our new clients, starting with Jamie Leal Martinez, new client introduced by Krista Marquez. Great job, Krista. I know this is your mother, so it's even more special. Also welcome Maggie Marquez, new client introduced by Krista Marquez. And this is your mother-in-law. So big congratulations, Krista, for introducing both your mother and your mother-in-law to the products last week. Also welcome Amanda Rodriguez Anderson, new client introduced by Krista Marquez. Way to go, Krista. Lighten up the leaderboard. And also welcome Virgie Payares, new client introduced by Krista Marquez. Wow, Krista, 4 brand new clients in the last 7 days. You are doing a fantastic job. Big congratulations to you, Krista. Also welcome Amira Mansour, new client introduced by Jade Matthews-Fochik. Great job, Jade. Also welcome Cynthia Flores, new client introduced by Jade Matthews-Fochik. And welcome Deidre Fields, new client introduced by Jade Matthews-Fochik. Great way to go, Jade. 3 new clients last week. I know they all got resets as well, so I'm excited for each client to have great results, and then, of course, continue on with the products and maybe even start with us in the company. So it's exciting. Great job, Jade. Also welcome Lynn Carmen, new client introduced by John Everett. Way to go, John. John's first client right here, and you're doing a great job, John. We're really proud of all your success so far. Also welcome Shirley Arias, new client introduced by Amy Gonzalez. Way to hit the board, Amy. I know Shirley has been on many of your Facebook parties and always liking and commenting on everything. So it's great to see that she was able to get started with us. Also welcome Orlando Montañez, new client introduced by Jason Hander. Way to go, Jason, and welcome Orlando. It's nice to talk to you on Facebook this past week. All right, well, that's a great week. There's a lot of clients that got started. Big congratulations to each one of you who helped those people get started. I'm excited because you're changing people's lives. Now we want to do a recognition to our brand new associate that started with our team last week. Welcome Jarrell Beatty and Heather Walker, new associates introduced by Phyllis and Rick Walker. I'd like to bring Phyllis on the line for a minute and just have her tell us about these two new associates. Phyllis, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Well, welcome to the webinar. Where are you calling in from?
Thank you. I'm calling in from Tennessee, visiting my great-granddaughter, brand new baby.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. So can you share with the team, tell us how you enrolled these two new associates?
Well, Heather is Rick's and my daughter.
Oh.
And Jarrell is her roommate, and of course, she has seen me in the last 20 years, how USANA has helped my health and my weight, and she said it's time now for both of them to try Reset and to get a better health.
Wow. So can you tell the people on the line how much weight you've lost using the Reset products?
3 Januaries ago, I was 40 pounds heavier. I started Reset 3 Januaries ago, last January, and this January. And I have maintained my goal weight for 6 or 7 months now.
Wow. So you've lost 40 pounds and kept it off for 3 years.
Well, I lost a little bit the first year. I lost a little bit the second year, and I lost the rest of it this year.
Okay, interesting. So you did it slowly but surely. It sounds like the healthiest way.
Yes. Yes.
And so now your family is seeing you be healthier, and they want to do the same.
That's correct.
Wow. Well, that's a great lesson for all of our associates on the call, because you are your business, and it's clear that is really working well for you, and congratulations on helping them get started and changing someone's life.
Thank you. And if you feel like 1 year in Reset isn't doing it, don't give up.
Oh yeah, good point. That's true. If it's happening slower than other people, don't compare yourself. Just keep at it.
Correct.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Phyllis. And
you're welcome, Jerry.
Great job. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so now we want to do some special recognition on a rank advancement that we had this past week. And Khalid and Barbara Medina advanced to the Achiever status, which is making their first $400 check in 1 week. A solid achiever makes $400 every week. That's $1,600 a month. When you get to this level in the company, it's basically like saying, an achiever paycheck is actually more than most part-time jobs pay. So when you get to this level, that means you really know what you're doing. You're having great success. You're helping people, helping associates, helping clients, and you get recognized by the corporate office. Khalid and Barbara are going to be on the corporate email that's sent out tomorrow. They're going to be receiving special gifts from corporate for hitting the achiever status. They're going to be recognized at the Las Vegas National Celebration and also International Convention. They've already been actually chatting with Lori Truman, who's the U.S. Field Development the head of the whole United States field development for associates. So I want to bring Khalid and Barbara Medina on the line. Dad, could you unmute them, please? Are you there, Khalid? Khalid and Barbara. All right, we're having trouble with their audio. We'll move on and talk to them at the end, or maybe next webinar. But big congratulations, Khalid and Barbara. We're very proud of you. Y'all have done an amazing job. Okay, moving on to special recognition. Congratulations to Renee and Megan Martinez, number 24 top client enrollers in the United States market this past week. Renee and Megan consistently stay on these charts, and that's why they're one of the top income earners in our organization. They're changing countless lives. They have team members all over now, all over Texas and the United States. We're very proud of you, Renee and Megan. Keep up the great work. Also, time to talk about our WAP and Win incentive that we're currently doing. After week 1 is completed, this is the scores. We have Robin Zink in first place with 21 points. Renee and Megan Martinez, second place, 19 points. Khalid and Barbara Medina, 17 points. Victoria Horman and Isaac Zink tied with 16 points. Krista Marquez, 7 points. Amy Gonzalez, Shay Huggins, 6 points. Carmen and Byron, 4. Phyllis Walker, 3 points, and John Everett, 1 point. So congratulations to each and every one of you who are on this list. We have 3 more weeks or 4 more weeks. It ends on April 8th. So I guess that would be 4 more weeks. And I'm excited for each and every one of you to win one of these cash prizes. Just to remind you, this is how you can win. The incentive goes March 5th through April 8th. The way that you can win is by getting the most points, and you get 10 points for making your 52-week binder with copies of the weekly action plan. You get 5 points for rank advancing in your business. You get 3 points each week for sending me your weekly action plan by Sunday night. When you enroll a new associate, you get 3 points, as long as that associate's on auto order. When you enroll a preferred customer with a 100-point auto order, you get 2 points. And when you enroll a preferred customer that's on any type of auto order, you get 1 point. So that is how it works. Now, the first place prize is going to get a $100 gift card of their choice. The second place gets $65. The third place gets $35. Okay, so nice cash prizes. However, if you are going to Las Vegas and you're a winner, your prize doubles. So if you win first place and you're going to Vegas, you get $200. Second place would be $130, and third place would be $70. So these are cool prizes. I would love to see you in Vegas and give you that extra money. Either way, you're going to be a winner because you're going to be getting the habits of creating your weekly action plan and getting it done on Sunday nights. That's the main behavior that we want people to do, because that's what really makes your business go, getting your weekly action plan made on Sunday night and also creating associates and clients on auto order. So start earning points today. There's still time. If you haven't gotten started, you can still get it done and start to earn points and get in the running. Lastly, the Week 8 Reset Challenge. We have team members in our team who are still in the running for global standings. Wayne Martin, he's number 10 in the world in weight loss percentage for males. Wayne Martin is also number 8 in the United States market. Or I'm sorry, no, the global standings for highest total weight loss. So Wayne, keep it up. You can win this trip to Mexico and visit Sonaviv. Also, Wayne Martin is in the North America standings, number 7. So we're very proud of you, Wayne. Keep it up. I know we have a lot of our team members that are very close to being in that top 10. So I want to encourage you all to keep going. There's 4 weeks left on the Reset Challenge. Here's the list of the participants we have on our team that are doing it. We have so many people losing weight and feeling great. We had several people win blender bottles and Go Stacks and other prizes for doing a great job on the Reset Challenge. And if you haven't taken the True Health Assessment, make sure you do, because you have to do that to win prizes on the Reset Challenge. And lastly, before we get into our guest speakers training, when you enroll a new client, make sure you add them to our USANA Clients Page Facebook private group. Just add them right here, make the post, make them feel special and important, and introduce them to our community. That's what's going to create a repeat client, is when they feel like they're part of something bigger and they feel special and important. So always add your clients to the USANA Clients Page. Also, when you have a new associate, add them to Team DSI, Duplicate Success International. That's our team page for the business, for the associates. Same process, add your new associates here and make the post. And also you can add clients who are interested in business to this page so they can see how we work and how we train. Lastly, we have a group called Hybrid Solutions, where this is associates only. When you add an associate, you can add them there and make the post. And if you need a story, you can go to Hybrid Solutions right there and search this group if you need a story about diabetes or a story about allergies or whatever. Even though USANA is not a cure for these things, it's still great to have a story of someone who took the products and what, their results were. So Hybrid Solutions is a great place to get stories, and just do the search and type in whatever you're searching for, and you'll see there's over 6,000 associates. So it's a big group. There's a lot of wisdom and knowledge here. Okay, so I'm going to take a 5-second break for the recording, and then we're going to bring on our special guest. Hello and welcome to our training webinar. My name is Jared Krebs. I'm pictured here with my wife, Crystal. We're Executive Ruby Directors, co-founders of Team DSI. And today we are honored to have Dr. Alberto Pena, who is a 1-star Diamond Director, actually an executive 1-star Diamond Director, a $1 Million Club member with USANA, as our special guest on our team webinar tonight. Dr. Pena, actually, I first met him in 2007. We had both won a trip to Ireland, and we actually hung out in Ireland for 10 days. When it was us and it was about 50 associates that won that trip. And it was just such an amazing experience. And that's where I first got to know him. And over these years, I've seen him totally help people, like in major, major ways, thousands and thousands of lives. Dr. Pena, actually, I have some pictures here that I took from his Facebook page. This is this past weekend at the Mexico City celebration. He was recognized as one of the top 10 income earners in Mexico, the Fortune 10. And that's really awesome. Look at this picture of his team. Look at all these people. His organization has helped literally thousands of people with their health, with their finances, also have fun, be part of a community. Dr. Pena is an expert at helping people with USANA, both with the business and with the products. And he even helped me and my wife, Crystal, when my wife got diagnosed with cervical cancer a couple years ago. And because of Dr. Pena's guidance, we knew what the best supplements were to take. And Crystal still had to do chemo and radiation, but today my wife is cancer-free. She has her health back. And Dr. Pena is a big reason why we were successful through her treatments. So we really love Dr. Pena. This is another picture of his team. They do fun things, like this is them at the beach. This is a picture of Dr. Pena with Doug Braun, who's one of the VPs of USANA Home Office, and Jordan Kemper, one of the top associates there at the Executive Diamond Retreat. Here's another one with the co-CEO Kevin Guest and other top USANA associates. So Dr. Pena is very well respected in the company and all around the world, really, within USANA and the medical field. And he recently visited San Antonio, and this picture is of Dr. Pena with our San Antonio team. And this was a great day for us locally because all of our associates got to meet Dr. Pena and learn from him for several hours. So tonight, Dr. Pena is going to share his story, and I'm going to bring him on the line. And he's just going to share some things about his USANA journey. I want you guys to please take notes. Be at the edge of your chair. Be ready. We'll have questions at the end. But I want to bring him on the line right now. Dr. Pena, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, hear you great. Thanks for being on the call.
Hello, Jared. Hello, everyone. It's great to be here. I just got back from Mexico City last night, but very eager to just kind of share with you guys what I've been doing for the past 11 years.
Fantastic. So the floor is yours, Dr. Pena. We want to hear your story from beginning to now, and share with us maybe some of the things that prior to USANA, what your life was like, some challenges that you had, and what brought you into USANA, what it's been like since you developed your business. Tell us your story.
All right. I hope we have enough time. Well, my story I usually take about 4 to 5 hours to tell it, but I understand this webinar is 6 hours long, right?
Yes, we have all the time you need.
Yeah, I'm just joking with you guys, but no, my journey started with USANA was one of those things with that kind of like, it was a serendipitous moment. Back in 1999, I had just graduated from medical school. So I was doing I was finishing my internship and doing some field work where I was lucky enough to meet Dr. Wentz because he was building a hospital, finishing up a hospital in the Baja California area. So basically when I met Dr. Wentz, I had zero experience as in terms of how much time I had as a practicing physician. So that was sort of like at the end of the day, it was a positive point because that immediately caused him to hire me. So because he wanted, to build a staff of people that were not set in their ways. And at that point, I had very little knowledge about cell nutrition. So I learned a lot of cell nutrition through Dr. Wentz. And I had learned that he had built the hospital as an extension of his vision, to help thousands of people around the world create, regain or recover their health. So I was really excited with the project. At first, I didn't quite understand it. It's one of those things where you get hired, but you sort of say yes. And what you really want is sort of like having an income now. When you're a student and you basically just, scratching your wallet to see if you can fill up your tank, and you wind up at the gas station just saying, hey, put $5 on it, on the card. That's enough to get back home. So it was really one of those great moments of my life where I had actually had a job. However, and as a couple of years went by, I was pretty happy with what I was doing. However, I felt that there needed to be something more. By age 27, if I recall correctly, age 28, I was promoted to director, to medical director of the hospital. So at that point, I was sort of like on the pinnacle or the top of the organization. I was making a very good amount of money, nowhere near a millionaire, but I was almost, scratching into the 100,000 or the six figures after taxes. So I was in a very, let's say, comfortable, if you want, position by age 27, 28. All my friends thought that I was, was pretty much, set. I have a job. I have I'm working for an American company, and get paid in dollars, etc. However, there were several things that weren't, 100% right, that I felt that I still needed something more. It's like you're there, people around you tell you, hey, you're doing awesome, but like when you really think about it, it's like, is there more to life? Is there something missing? And there was for me. One of my mentors that turned out to be one of my patients, on the 4th of July, he was an American who's still a very good friend of mine that was probably about 20 years older than I was. He had a house in San Diego, just across the border in the Coronado area, which is a very high-end area. So he was coming down for the weekend and invited me and my wife to spend the 4th of July, do just like a 4th of July barbecue, 4th of July weekend, because he did not reside in San Diego, but rather he was residing in the Phoenix, Arizona area because he was a land developer. So anyway, he took us to his house, a beautiful $10 million home, with its own, yacht on the back, on a pier. So, and at that point, we had a lot of fun. He was one of the first persons to sort of introduce me into the entrepreneurial world. And I remember that he had let me, let's say, navigate or drive his yacht, because after the barbecue, we all got into the boat and basically went right on the harbor in front of downtown San Diego to see the fireworks. And I remember I was playing captain, and I sort of told Conley was his name, and said, Conley, I want to have a boat like this one day. And he basically looked at me and said, he would call me Dr. P, and he would say, Dr. P, you're never going to have a boat like this doing what you're doing. And that was like a really hard, sort of like a impact phrase that, it left a very big impression on me. And the reason was because, at that point, everybody else was telling me, hey, you're doing great. You're on the road to financial independence, blah, blah, blah. You're doing very good for your age. But I knew at that point that he was right, that my income was topped. I mean, from an organization standpoint, there was nowhere else to go up. And so I was pretty much felt that I had achieved what I would achieve there. And so I didn't feel there was any more room to grow. And he told me that night, that evening, he said, you need leverage. And when he looked at me and when I looked at him, kind of like I didn't quite understand what he meant by that. And he said, let's just have fun and we'll talk about that later. And so a couple of weeks later, he told me, just look into the term leverage in money. And so I did, right? And it's funny how a few, months later, somebody comes up to me and talks about the USANA opportunity. And at that point, I was a big fan of the product. From a product standpoint, I was already using the products on the patients. And a lot of the patients that I saw that were very sick before, I would see their medical files, and some of these patients were USANA associates. And I would see, they have arthritis and it's debilitating, et cetera. And then I would see the patient, and he looked pretty phenomenal for a person with 30 years of arthritis. So I would ask him, is this the right Mrs. Jones, right? Or did I get the wrong file? And she said, no, that's me. And she would tell me, with no intention of even prospecting me, just from a patient-doctor standpoint, she said, I had a lot of problems with my joints, but when I started USANA 6 years ago, I've been improving every day, very little by little, but now I'm able to walk and I'm able to just be more functional. So I had no doubts about the, let's say, effectiveness of the products. However, and I was giving the products actually to my parents and my family, and I was taking them myself because I felt that I didn't need them. But then the more I researched, I realized that those allergies or those, hay fever that I would experience every spring, and it was officially for me, I thought it was a familial thing because my dad had it. And, and my grandfather had it, so I figured it was just a family thing, right? There's a lot of allergies in my family, et cetera. And that's how I medically had classified it. I'm a healthy guy, but I have a lot of allergies. And I thought that being allergic meant you had a very good immune system. But it turned out to be the opposite. So as I started taking USANA, it's been almost 17 years since I started on the products. And the amazing thing, it's been 17 years that I have not had to get an allergy shot on the spring. And I'm talking steroids, the whole schmear. And so it was one of those things, both on my family, then on myself, that I became a believer of the products. I knew they were the best products in the world. However, I felt that the business was not for me because I never considered myself a salesman. I thought, sales or anything that had to do with billing and stuff or just selling something, I would feel like it wasn't for me. I was maybe good at selling, but bad at collecting. So anyway, going back to the whole leverage thing, so I just wanted to, sort of share that with you guys that, we do have the best products and they weren't even as great as they are today. So I had belief in the products, but I didn't feel that the business was for me because I never actually understood the business for what it was. So as I was approached by several people, and I would say, no, you know what? I love the products, but I'm just going to take them, but the business is not for me. And but so when my friend Connolly talked about leverage, it was funny how it all just came together. Few months later, it was funny because I've always been a very hard worker. I mean, before USANA, I would work during the day. A lot of the times I would be moonlighting, even on the weekends. I remember there was a development by the coast, and at that point, I was living in an apartment that I had purchased and was paying together with my wife at that point, and I saw that they were starting to move, dirt in a piece of property that there was going to be a community of 200 homes right in front of the water. So I knew that I needed to sort of like get into buying there but if I didn't, the prices would just go up. So they were on pre-sale. And here's the funny thing: they had allowed me to invest or to pay off the down payment deferred. And the funny thing is, back then, the payments that I had to give per month to finish the down payment for the house were the equivalent of my monthly salary. So what I'm basically telling you is that I would work the whole month, get my paycheck, and then I would give that paycheck to the developers to purchase the house. So I had to do that for 38 months. So imagine 38 months with living off of zero, right? So my wife had a job, had just finished school back then. So we were basically, living off of sandwiches. And so I would work the whole month, and my paycheck would already be, compromised by the end of the month for the next 38 months. And it's funny how, so then an opportunity came up. One of the doctors that would do the night shift had to go on a let's say course in another town. He was going to do a certification, and so would be away for the next 8 months. So he did not want to lose his position at the hospital. So I figured, hey, you know what? If you leave for the next 8 months, here's what I'll do. I'll look after your job by me working your job. So next thing you know, I'm working on my regular day job, and I'm working the night shift 3 days out of the week. And so, and I did it because I really needed the money. That was the point where I knew that even though I was making good money, it just wasn't enough. And that was one of those things that I knew that it wasn't really about just making more, but having more options. And it's because it wasn't like I was buying an enormous house or my dream home, but it was something that I considered, I deserved because I had studied all these years. So I remember that time there was this gentleman at the hospital that was doing was there for a medical diagnosis, just as a general checkup. And so he decided to stay a couple of weeks. And in fact, he wasn't even my patient. But I remember one night I saw him. I was going down the steps from the nurse's station to the lobby, and he was going up. And I told him, "What are you doing here?" Because it had been 3 weeks almost. He was supposed to stay for a week. And it was one of those guys that I would just see on the hallways and say, hey, good afternoon. And he would say good afternoon. We would chit chat a little bit, and that was about it. So anyway, I saw him at night, and he said, "What are you still doing here?" And I said, "What are you doing here? I thought you were going to go back home." And so I told him, "Are you that sick?" And he said, "No, I just want to lose some more weight and, get my liver cleansed and detox a little more." So at that point, I thought to myself, what kind of a guy stays for a couple of weeks more when you're paying $1,000 a day, So he asked me, "What are you doing?" And I said, I'm working, and I'm working the night shift. And he said, "And you're still working the day?" And I said, "Yes." And so he said, "You know what? We sort of like need to talk or something." And I said, "Yeah, I need to talk to you because you should have gone home. And so I asked him that right there, then and there on the chit chat, right on the steps. And I asked him, "What do you do?" And he said, "You know what? I used to be a civil engineer back in Canada, but now I sell fire insurance." So he tells me I sell fire insurance. So immediately I thought to myself, there must be a lot of wood or fires where you work, where you live, because, nobody stays and spends $14,000 just because, he's got nothing else to do. So he said, so I told him, "Wow, there's probably a lot of fires there for you to stay 2 more weeks." And he said, "Well, not that kind of insurance. What I mean by fire insurance is if you get fired, you're insured." So immediately I saw him and said, "Wow, that's interesting, And he said, "Yeah, I'll talk to you once I finish. I'm going to stay a couple of days more at a hotel, and let's get together and I'll tell you about it." And I said, "Sure." And I remember he said fire insurance, and so I met with him just basically maybe out of curiosity. I would have imagined that we were going to meet and talk about USANA. So he started to talk to me about USANA. He was actually the first person that explained the whole USANA compensation plan. And so he explained the compensation plan to me, and it sort of made sense. And at this point, whom I considered an expert, and I called my friend about 3 weeks later, but that was about 3 weeks later after I joined. And the only reason I joined is because, one, I believed in the products, and when he explained the comp plan, I remember I told him, you know what, I don't have time. I work, I work nights and I work evenings. And he said, well, can you, how much time do you think you need to build this? And I said, I don't know. I would imagine a lot. He said, no. He explained to me the numbers and said, can you set up 4 hours out of your week right now? And if that would depend on you making this amount. And I said, sure, I would, I'm sure on the weekend I could talk to people. And he said, exactly. But the reason I joined is because he asked me the right questions. And I asked him, I remember one of the things that I hated about my life was getting up so early. I've never been a morning person. So when I asked him, hey, okay, if this works out, are you telling me that I can basically get up anytime I want to if I build an organization? He said, yeah, get up, throw away your alarm clock. I did it. So that was one of the big points that motivated me, because one of the things is that imagine me working the nights, working during the day on a high demanding job. I was already most of the time tired, and I felt like I was still carrying some of the, wear and tear of medical school and everything. So I felt at that point, I need a break. I need a vacation or something. I had finished school, then immediately started the job. And so when I said, all right, sign me up, he also asked me a very, very crazy question. Like, he didn't explain the comp plan that much. And he just said to me, okay, do you want to sign up earning 10% or earning 20% out of the commission? And I said, 20%. Okay. So it's gonna be an extra $400. And I said, oh, okay. So he never actually said, look, it's three centers versus one center, et cetera. He just said, do you want 10% or 20%? And I said 20%. Okay, 20% is gonna be this much. And you're just gonna have to buy a little more product at the beginning. So I figured it was good, because I heard on the talk that on the webinar that some of you have signed up preferred customers, which I think is a great way to just promote the products in your business. And congratulate all of you who have signed up customers this week or this couple of weeks. Kudos to all of you, because two of my Emerald directors in my organization started as preferred customers. So by the time I talked to them about the business, there wasn't any obstacle in them knowing that the product was a phenomenal product. So it was much easier for them to sign up and do the business and share the products, because they were products they already believed in and products that they already consumed. So going back to the story, I had signed up and just started to build the business. At that point, there were a couple of details that I maybe not shared, is that Mexico had not opened yet. So it was really hard doing the business, but because the only people that could sign up were those that had a U.S. address and a social security number. So imagine me living across the border and basically just being able to sign up people that would be able to purchase the products with those two, requirements. And even with those obstacles, I had advanced on the first month to share, and then by the third month, I had become a believer on my check. By the sixth month, I was getting 2 believer checks per month. In other words, I was earning about $200 a month, and then I became a builder, and pretty much stayed as a believer. What had actually happened is the person that had signed me up had passed away, and when he passed away, was sort of just, consuming there. And one of the things that is also maybe worthy of mention is that when I signed up, I wasn't in the most, let's say, money was not abundant. In other words, it was very scarce because the 38 months of that, down payment had not gone through. So what basically happened is I was now paying the down payment and paying my auto ship. But one of the things that I noticed is that when we were doing the Nutri-Meals and everything, I was actually saving more money or spending less money because my breakfast had become a Nutri-Meal and my lunch had become a Nutri-Meal, where I would go and have lunch, like at a Subway or a Starbucks. Then I just substituted that, $6, $7 meal with a $2 Nutri-Meal, back then. So I was actually did the math and figured out I would actually save money by just having my breakfast and my lunch as with the shakes. And so even though money apparently was an objection, it turned out not to be. I just redirected my spending, because I know for a lot of people, money is tight these days, but you need to offer people a solution. And they didn't offer me that solution because I was kind of like, I was the doctor, so I had to be sort of, keep an appearance. So I never told them that money was that tight, So I was still there, and then I would share the products, and by the sale of the products to my family members, let's say if I would buy at 30 and sell at 40, my wife would help me, and we basically were able to stay on that auto ship. It was not back until 2004 that Mexico opened, and sort of like that was like floodgates opening, and my two of my upline that I didn't know at the time, other than just basically saying hello, which were the same people that were sponsored by Ron Dowie, who was my original sponsor, had called me and said, you know what, we can see the country developing into being a successful market, and we see you becoming an important leader in that opening. And at that point, I had paid off my house. The 38 months had gone by. I felt more in a relief state than I was when I signed up. And but it was those words that they said. It wasn't like, hey, let's get together and make money. No, it was more what they saw in me. They said, Alberto, we can see you becoming an emerald, a ruby, even a diamond. We don't know, but we want to know if you want to take charge in this opportunity to just develop your market. And I said, you know what? I'm not entirely close to it. Sure, let's talk about it. And what they had said is, we're going to go down there for a week so we can explain what our game plan would be on how we get you there, what you would need. But they didn't say what they were going to do. They said, we'll explain to you what you would need to do in order to get there. One of the things that I learned is these two people that, and I thank God for them, because the two people, the couple that I'm talking about is John and Suzanne Cunningham from Winnipeg, Canada, who are actually my upline diamonds, and they weren't diamonds back then. They were actually emerald or ruby directors, if I recall. And right now they're 3-star diamonds. So imagine, they were emerald. I was a builder, and so what they basically said is, we're going to teach you how we build our business and what you need to do in order to get there. And I said, sure. So they had gone, come down to Mexico for that week, and we talked, and we had a couple of meetings, but more importantly, they showed me what it was about a system. Now, the part that I forgot to mention is when I actually got my first $100 check, I had explained the USANA business to my mentor, Conley, and Conley basically looked at me and said, you know what, Dr. P, and imagine this coming from a multi-millionaire, almost a billionaire, said, this is what you need to be doing. That's the way for you to be able to, transition from your work to be an entrepreneur. without having to quit your job immediately. That sounds like a phenomenal project for you to be involved in. Plus, everybody wants, supplements, and everybody needs to lose weight. That's where you need to be in. And he actually joked about it. He said, because I think I need to be in that because this real estate market is so soft, and I should probably just go into the health area. So anyway, so he said that's the leverage that I'm talking about when you build a network. When you make money off of your efforts and other people's efforts, and they make money off of your efforts too. And so he actually loved the whole concept of the compensation plan, the fact that it was binary, et cetera. And so he actually said that, that's what I needed to be in. So, and when he asked me, have you done any checks before yet? And I said, you know what? Well, I made 100 last month. And he looked at me and said, that's phenomenal. And I was like, kind of embarrassed because immediately I thought that he maybe heard 100,000 or maybe 1,000. And I had said, no, Conley, it's only $100. And he said, no, that's phenomenal. I started a business a couple of years back, and he said, I opened up an office, and it was 18 months into the office operating, and I was still, losing $10,000 a month from operating that new business. And he said, you know how happy I would be if my accountant called me and said, we made $100 profit. Just the fact that I would break even would have been just happiness for me. So I'm still subsidizing this new business. And if you made $100 already, that's the business to be in, because I wish I made $100 off of this new business. And he explained to me the difference and he basically said, you know what, when you get into business, you're no longer an employee. In other words, you start the business and you have to invest time and invest money into it. But I see your business where you don't have to invest a lot, just invest time because you're already making profit. So that kind of changed my whole outlook on how I saw life, because one of the things that I felt is like, you know what, I put 5 hours into this and it only made me $100, and I make more. I'm an MD, and and even my friends would say, but you're a doctor, why are you doing that? And back then it still was a misunderstood let's say industry. Now going into 2016, network marketing and, just the power of networking is now so almost, let's say, 3-4 times more recognized by the general population than it was even 10 years back. Now with Facebook and all these social networks, they know that networking and they know that virtual business is we're more in other words, we're more into the information era than we were even 10 years ago. At least now more people are aware of it. I mean, think about it. 10 years ago, there was no Facebook and there was no WhatsApp and there wasn't any of these, we were barely into the eBay and Amazon era. And so most of the billionaires were industrial billionaires. Now, most of the new billionaires are information technology billionaires. I'm talking about a Zuckerberg. I'm talking about the gentleman that founded WhatsApp and all these social networks and Twitter, etc. So, going into the future, back in by December of 2004, January of 2005, I had become a gold director. By 2006. I was a very solid gold director because I had 2 gold directors on each side. So the people that started with me were gold directors. And at that point, I was able in December of 2005 to basically, quit my job. I had given them. I remember I gave them. I did it in the most professional way that I could, because I wasn't unhappy with it was sort of like, it's not you, it's me, because I remember Dr. Wentz had asked me, and even my immediate supervisor, which was only one, which was the general, director, said, are you not happy? Are we not treating you right? And I said, you know what? No, I could have never asked for anybody or expected anybody to treat me as well as you guys treat me. And but I just simply feel that this is not for me anymore. And one of the reasons was that I knew that in my profession, I was selling my time. I wasn't investing it. There was no residual. And so I felt that I needed to just, with everything that I had learned with leverage and in investing time, I just felt like those 40, 50 hours, being in between four walls was just not for me. And, the other part that I felt that I needed to change, and this is one of the things that I didn't like about my job, is that if I would see a patient, by the time I would see a lot of patients, these were patients that had already gone to several, let's say, the best of the best hospitals. And by the time they would show up at my office, as my patients, they had already done everything. And so a lot of them, were late stage. They had a disease that I could do. I was more limited into helping them. And with everything that I knew about cell nutrition, I knew that it was their lifestyle that had gotten them there. So I remember I was talking to my one of my first associates. Actually, he was my third associate that I had signed up. In other words, I signed up my mother, my father, and then him. So he was my third. He was actually really my first person that I had actually was able to successfully sign up after about a year and a half later. So I remember telling him, he was a doctor too, and said, you know what? We're so stressed out with these patients, and they're suffering, they're in pain, their family is in pain because of their condition. They're spending their entire life savings trying to recover their health. And look at you, look at me. I'm stressed out because I'm living it on how I can help him. And I asked him the question, what if we could go back 20 years with this patient and just change his eating habits, change his stress level, change his financial situation and financial stress? Would he be sitting here or lying in this, in this hospital bed? He said, no, very unlikely. And I told him that's the reason we need to do USANA, because we're actually doing prevention instead of just doing crisis medicine. And so he looked at me and I said, imagine if we get 1,000 people and we get groups of people that become our associates and our customers, and we teach them how to nourish themselves and how to be, live a different lifestyle. And I remember Vasquez looked at me and said, you know what? And then I sort of like humoristically told him, and we get rich in the whole process, we become millionaires. So he looks at me and said, you know what? Okay, what do I need to do to be able to sign up and start this? Because I need a change in my life. And he signed up with me. And it was because I actually shared my story and the intent of why I wanted to do USANA and why he had to do it with me. It was more about just, hey, come on, sign up. We need to make money. It was more about, hey, you know what? We're going to help people. We're going to help. Instead of seeing 6 patients or whatever we can during the day, we can impact thousands or hundreds of thousands of people and avoid them being in this situation. And, one of the things, Jared and everybody, the whole team, that I also realized is that if I kept doing what I was doing, because imagine dealing with people that are, on the brink of death and very little that you can do in many of the cases, I knew that I was racing my way to actually becoming one of them. I said, if I keep doing this 10 more years, 20 more years, I'm going to be sick like this person. Because what a lot of people are sick is because, for one part, people work very hard now. People work so hard these days, and they barely make ends meet. And the other part is, if you're not happy and you're not doing something that you're happy and that fulfills you, and you know what creates more happiness in my experience is helping other people, is giving them that that gift of you changing their life. There's nothing more satisfying than that. So we need, our real purpose of doing this USANA is actually, we have a gift that we can give a lot of people. So in January of 2006 was the day, let's say, I would celebrate not being an employee anymore. And at first, I didn't think that USANA was going to be there, be my life project. I felt like I was a gold director and I was free, and now I can maybe start a business. And it's funny how I didn't think USANA was a real business yet. It wasn't until convention of 06. I remember I went to convention of 2006, and that was actually the first time I had ever gone to convention because, again, I was an employee and would rarely be able to take time off because we were so busy. So we decided to go to convention, and it's funny how a lot of our team went to convention that year. And it wasn't because we invited them. They just simply found out about convention because they would get emails and they would get, just the whole information by being signed up. And I remember we attended convention, and I saw the people going up there and going on the stage, and I saw the diamonds, and I saw, emerald and ruby directors going up there. And I thought to myself, what do they do that I wouldn't be able to do? And I simply thought they must know something, or they're probably doing something that I don't know. So I went up to Colette. I remember I went up to Colette and said, Colette, what's the secret of you being a star diamond, a 5-star diamond? And she asked me, you know what, Alberto, you're a gold, right? And I said, yes. So she told me, I do exactly the same that you do. The only difference is I've had more people say no to me than you. So when you have accumulated the same amount of no's that I have, then your check will be as big as mine. And at that point, that had changed my perspective on, being rejected. In other words, the more rejected you are, by the more money you're going to make, because it simply means that you've talked to more people. So when you accumulate the same amount of no's that I have, you will make the same amount of money that I make. And so I remember that day, that weekend at convention, we had actually set up goals, my wife and I. My wife was pregnant at the time. We were a few months into having our newborn kid. And so that's when we saw the growth. We saw the whole Ireland thing, and we decided we had to grow our business beyond the Growth 25 and earn that trip. And I remember when we earned it, 1 year later, we became Growth 25 members. We advanced to Ruby Director, and we went to Ireland. And that's where I met Jared back then. And we had a lot of fun. Jared, I think, back then was also a Ruby or a Gold, if I recall. And, we went golfing. We stayed at these castles. It was an amazing trip. And once we went on that trip and we saw how USANA rewards us with these trips and this growth, we decided to really make USANA our career choice, because it had given us the time, the freedom, the money, the recognition. And I knew that when I was a Ruby, I did not feel like I felt at my job that I was capped. In other words, if I was Ruby and, and making $10,000, $12,000 a month, I knew I could advance to the next level, which would be becoming an emerald. So we advanced to emerald. And when we became emeralds, we knew that we could still go to the next level and advance to diamonds. So we went to diamond, and then we went to 1-star. And, and it's been a process of growth, from gold to ruby to emerald to diamond. And so we went on the growth trip the next year to the Mayan Riviera by Cancun and Playa del Carmen with USANA again. And then we earned another trip to Hawaii with the growth on the third year. So we went growth 25 3 years in a row. And we sort of then just kind of stopped because we had our second child, which was our daughter Rebecca, in 2000 at the end of 09, 28th of December 09. So as of 2010 to 2013, we sort of took a break and just had just enjoyed the residual income. And the funny thing is we became diamonds in 2010 without trying. It was just the, let's say, how would I say, the if you call it this way, it was the momentum that we had built in our team that just drove us to the next rank advancement. And we stayed at diamond for just being with a solid diamond check for the next 3 years. And what was funny, Jared and everybody, is that we got tired. I got tired of doing nothing. We would get a check every week, and I felt like, you know what, I can't just be living off, stealing oxygen from the atmosphere and doing nothing. We had helped a lot of people. We had a huge team, very solid, but we felt like we needed to just get back into the game. And in 2013 and a half, we started, prospecting again and working and just doing our business. And we were more believers of the power of duplication and leverage that the compensation plan gives us, because we were living off a solid paycheck for 3-4 years. And we had done that before at the gold level. So we knew that this business was a business that, was recession proof, that is a business that is social, that, you make a lot of friends. We've made so many friends. I can't think of a single city or a single place around Mexico or even Colombia where I don't have friends. We've traveled to Australia, to New Zealand. We have teams there, and it's amazing. And one of the things that, so then we went 1-star diamond, and we became executive 1-star diamond, and we just recently got back, even before Mexico City, from Hawaii. We went to the Maui trip for the executive diamond retreat. So we just had an amazing time with the USANA staff and other leaders. So I mean, I think there's no better opportunity out there than just learning how to do this business. So I want to give you a few tips on how I did it, because one of the things that I noticed is that I went to gold using a method. Everybody, always is searching for a mechanism, a formula, a system, and it's like, give me the system. So I see this happen a lot in with USANA groups, right? You need to follow this system, right? So, but one of the things that if there is really a system in USANA, the only system is just simply talking to people. People are different. I mean, the way I build my business is maybe different than the way Jared builds it. Who builds it the right way? Both and nobody, because Jared is Jared and Alberto is Alberto. But if we have one thing in common, is what Jared was talking about. We consume the products. We increase we add people to our contact list every day. Every day we meet new people. We need to have prospects on a continual basis. And so what I meant by mechanism is that mechanism changes. When we went to gold, we had a lot of hotel meetings, like weekly health and freedom, and that's pretty much all we did. Everybody focused on the health and freedom meeting. But then we noticed that that kind of limited our growth potential. So then we started, to teach people how to do a one-on-one, 2-to-1 presentation. So on our second rank advancement to Ruby, we did a lot of meetings at homes, hosting meetings in your house. And then when we went to Emerald, we did it, hosting meetings at Starbucks. And then when we went to Diamond, we would continue to do it. The message that I'm trying to, throw out there is that you can find your mechanism, but as long as you talk to people, is what makes the money. It's not sitting there just, watching the hub for 3 hours a day and saying, I worked I worked USANA because I was doing this. Some people go to the extreme of they just read and read and read and read and read, and I want more knowledge, and I want to learn everything, and they're so caught up in learning that they never talk to people. Other people, well, I'm going to help with the meeting. I'm going to be at the registration table, this, and that. And it only makes you feel like you're active, but if you're not talking to prospects, it's not going to give you any growth. You might feel a sense of accomplishment because, you helped out at organizing an event or whatever. But if the bottom line, you don't have prospects that you've invited into that event, if you show up with nobody, you're not doing anything. And so what I want to get to is that it's the intent to build what makes you grow. It's that goal setting that you put a goal and a date and say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to be at this level by this month, or by the end of this year, I need to be here. And I need to have so many people active, because that makes your mind start working towards achieving your goal. Eric Worre talked about, I don't know if you know the analogy of the race between a turtle and the rabbit, and they would say, the turtle will win because slow pace but more constant is more important than a fast pace. And you know what? In our industry, the rabbit wins. You have to build momentum. If you don't build momentum, you're not going to create momentum. So basically what I've learned is that you need to build momentum, and you also need to, when you sign a person up, you need to help them as much as you can for them to go into platinum pay setter status and to grow their business all the way to the achiever rank. And the reason I'm talking about road to achiever is because even statistically, we found out that the average life of a distributor is 3 months. When you get that distributor to what we call, let's say, landmark rank, that would be considered achiever here in USANA. The average life of an associate goes all the way up to 36, 38 months. So imagine if you're building your business and you sign up 10 people, and all of a sudden 3 months on average later, nobody's doing anything. You have to restart and rebuild again. And so that's a very painful way of doing USANA. So you really need to sign up these people and start, just building with them and getting them to those rank levels. And but to know that once you do that, you're going to have a solid business. You're going to have retention within your people. That, together with building preferred customers, is will get you to the next level, and just keep growing and growing and growing. But remember, it's the intent that will get you there. You need to have the intent of talking to people and signing people up and teaching them the business. And the other part, which is very important, is having them attend events. The regional events, the local events, and the national and international events. Because it's at the events that people make the commitment to go to the next level in their business. And what you really want, it doesn't take a lot to become, to go into the gold and above ranks. You just need to have a team of people that are business builders. You don't need hundreds of them. You just need maybe 10, 15 people that are committed to building their business in your organization. Will just make your organization multiply in numbers. So, that's basically my story, and everything that we've done is just focus on helping people and focus on getting people healthier, helping them with their finances, and just promoting a better quality of life between our friends and family members and our associates. And we're in the best company. USANA has every couple of years, in the last 10 years that I've been an associate and that I've been building actively, I've seen USANA just increase the pay amount they gave us. In other words, USANA pays out more money now, more bonuses, and more ways to pay you than it did even 5 years ago. Now we have the auto order bonus, where you get 25% more. The elite bonus started, when they started the elite bonus, they would give it out to the 25 most, profitable associates. Now they give it to the 55. They went from 25 to 30, from 30 to 35, and they've been increasing that, leadership and the number of leaders that get paid that elite bonus. And I'm sure as time is going by, they're going to increase it to 60 and then 70, then 100, because the company is just growing and growing and growing. They're going to make it bigger for everybody. There's more money to give out as the company grows. There's more, the economies of scale of paying out when you're $100 million company versus when you're $1 billion company. USANA is $1 billion company this year. So, and when they become a $5 billion company, there's going to be a lot more bonuses and monies and better trips and better everything for all of us. So we're all in the right moment to be building this business. The expansion of USANA into new markets, it's just, you guys live in Texas. I'm sure if you look, you have people from Mexico. I'm sure if you look, you have people from Asia. I'm sure if you look, you have people from Peru, from Colombia. The U.S. is just a melting pot of people from all over the world. And every time they open a new country, people in the U.S. have relatives in that new country. So there's so much opportunity for you to build globally and staying locally without having to spend, all this money by building. You can build local, and your market's going to expand. So I don't know if are you still there, Jared?
I am. I've been taking notes. I have about 10 pages.
All right, thanks.
This
That's
is
great.
awesome.
Yeah, so the sudden burst of energy is very important, and also that what we would call the icon rank or landmark rank is getting people to achiever, because that's where they last more on average in your organization. I mean, you get 10 people to achiever and they keep building and get people to achiever, they're going to be you're going to have more longevity in your business.
That is so well said, and thank you so much for taking the time to share your story. I mean, seriously, I have 10 pages of notes here. The main things that I got from what I learned so far is you said average associate life is 3 months because they're weak, and if you help them get results and help them become achievers, you basically increase their life by 10 times in the company. What better strategy?
Exactly.
We have a lot of new associates on this call, and we have a brand new set of achievers that just advanced last week. And I can tell you, Khalid and Barbara Medina are on fire right now because that's a pretty nice check they're getting. And
exactly. And I'm glad you mentioned it. I'm sorry to interrupt, Jared, but this is one thing that I needed to. This is one of those aha moments that when you talk about them being on fire. Here's one of the things that I've noticed. When I talk to people, it's about the power of networking, the power of edification. When you edify somebody, see, if you qualify your prospect, I just ask them a simple question like this. I would say, you know what? Most people think that 2016 is not going to be necessarily a better year than they had on 2015. And I asked them, and most people right now in that are around me would say, yeah, you're right. It's the job market's not that great. The currency strength is not that great. And I asked them, what would it take for you, let's say Carlos, to have as a supplementary income for you to say at the end of the year, you know what, I'm better off at the end of this year than I was last year. And a lot of the times they would you want them to give you a number. And if Carlos would say, I would give an example. Let me give you an example, Carlos. I had an associate that told me, you know what? If I made $200 extra per week, that's $800 a month. In other words, $10,000 a year. If and he would tell me, if I make $10,000 more this year than I did last year, man, that would make my year. And you know what I would tell them, Jared? I would say, you know what? That's $200 a week. What would you do if I would present you a friend that's making twice that amount and has achieved it in the last 6 months, and he's willing to tell you how he did it? Would you sit with him and me so he would teach you what you need to do? And normally they would say yes, because imagine if he's making $20,000 a year, wouldn't $20,000 a year make your year even more worthwhile? And normally the answer is, of course. Well, let's meet with him on so date, and then I would tell him, listen, this guy that I'm gonna meet with you, he's got a lot of people wanting to talk with him, but so the only thing that he said is, he told me, you know what? I'll teach anybody you bring. Just bring me people that are serious. You know, people that are committed to themselves, not to you, but to themselves and their families and their economy. You know, so then I would ask my prospect, are you committed to your family and your economy? And normally they would say, yes. Good. So you'll be there, because I don't want to be sitting on a table with him and me and an empty chair. So I just want to make sure that you're committed. If not, I'm going to have to call somebody else, because I'm looking for committed people. So you're sort of like giving it to them and taking it away. And it's so true that why would you even sit or even make an appointment if you're not sure they're going to make it? And like even for you guys, I mean, if you're working with Jared, and Jared is an executive Ruby, you know, and somebody tells you that if they make $30,000 extra a year next year would make their year. I mean, imagine telling them, you know, I'm gonna introduce you to a guy that makes 5 times that amount. Would that interest you? And that is willing to teach you how he did it so you can do it. You know, that is the power of edifying your leadership. And it's also the power of networking. See, because you want to show them that it's possible, and you want to show them that you have the tools, and you know the right people. They're going to show them how to get there. See, the reason I would sign up to USANA, it wasn't because I did it because, well, you know, he's been calling me all these days, and I feel like, yeah, I think I need to sign up. I mean, poor Jared, you know, he's worked hard. Yeah, I'm going to buy some stuff from him. You know, no, that's not the reason I signed up. I signed up because I wanted to get rid of my alarm clock. I signed up because I understood the whole leverage concept. And I signed up because I wanted to throw away my alarm clock one day. So I did it for me. I didn't do it for my sponsor. And if you get people to join and they do it for themselves, you know, your business is just going to explode. And you guys have, you know, Jared, you've got the right people. Jared knows his stuff. He knows how to do it. What you guys need to do to be more successful and accelerate the growth is just learn. You have to learn how to sell your leader to your prospect. You guys have, you know, we say it in Mexico, you've got the pan by the handle. You know, it's like it's in your hands. I mean, you're way ahead of the game. So all you need to do is just edify your upline or your crossline, and, you know, and just network. If you've got Monica Penrod, just say, hey, you know what? Well, if I made $1 million for retirement, I'd be happy, because I'm not sure about my retirement. You're talking to a baby boomer, and just say, hey, if I introduced you to a lady, or just, you know, if I could get 10 minutes of her time to speak to you, would you go? And just say, and he would probably say, because it turns out she's my really good friend, and she's made, you know, multiple $1 million figures in the business, and she can show you. Even if we can pick her brain for 10 minutes, would you go? And imagine your prospect saying, what? No? Of course, if he talked to you and said that's his goal, he's going to say, sure, let's go. Because what you want to do is make it about them instead of making it about you. So your job is to just, find out what motivates them, what makes them tick, what would be the reason they would join. And what do they need? You're just the provider of the resources and the people for them to meet so they can get what they want. So, man, when I started doing that and I taught my people how to do that, I mean, if I'm making $40,000 a month and somebody tells them, you know what, I'd be happy if I make 10,000 a month, and just telling, they would say, you know what, I'm gonna present you to my upline or my friend, or even if I'm a cross line, and he's making 4 times what you would think it's a wow factor. Would you meet with him? But the only thing, he said he would meet with anybody, but not everybody. He said, just get me somebody, if I'm going to give time, 10 minutes or 20 minutes of his time. He just made one requisite, is that he'd be a serious person. And you ask him, are you serious about this? And if they say yes, you know what you're saying when you ask them, are you serious about this? You're basically telling them subliminally, I'm serious about this. You have to sign up with me. It's good for you to sign up with me, because if you sign up with me, you're signing up with somebody that's serious about success. And I'm going to get there, and we're going to get there together. So it gives you posture without arrogance. I hope that helps you guys, just when you invite. So I'll give the word to you, Jared.
I just wrote down posture without arrogance. That's a very good way to say it. And speaking of posture without arrogance, you have that clearly. And thank you for taking the time to sew into our team. I know we're not connected to you directly in the USANA business, but we still are connected, and it really means a lot to me that you took the time to share all your secrets and what makes this work for you. And I just want to take a moment and blow everyone's mind a little, if you don't mind. Could you just share with the team, how much are you making per month with your USANA business, like, let's say right now and in the last 6 months?
Well, let me think about it. I can, if I make an average, I can tell you how much I make per year, and you can basically divide it in between the 12 months. So last year it was about 480,000 CVPs, commission volume points, which would be 480,000 US dollars, the equivalent in US dollars. Because if I say it in pesos, it'd be a few million, which is pretty fun, because the cost of living is lower here, so it's, but yeah, it would be almost a little bit south of 500,000. Okay. So this is a residual business. You're making about $40,000 a month with your USANA business, which is about 4 times what you're making as a doctor. Oh yeah, 4 or 5 times more, than what I was making as a doctor, for sure, without a doubt. And you're also catching people early and helping them with USANA by creating good habits earlier in life rather than crisis health management as a doctor. Yes, I'm preventing them. I'm helping their, preventing or, decreasing the odds or the likelihood of them being in a deathbed in a hospital one day at age 50, we're helping people become financially and health free, and they're going to die of old age and be happy and live a full life. That's what we want, quality of life. Yeah. Wow. All right. And can you share with us how many, just off the top of your head, how many Diamond Directors that you have in your business? How many golds? How many rubies, emeralds? Just off the top. On the top of my head, I only have 1 diamond. I've got 11 emeralds, about 20 rubies, and gold directors, about north of 40 gold directors, and hundreds of silvers and everybody else. But this year, I'll very likely have a diamond on each one of my legs.
Okay, got it. So 1 diamond, 11 emeralds, 20 rubies, 40 golds, and hundreds of silvers. And out of those 11 emeralds, probably 3 more diamonds this year.
That's correct, Jared.
Wow. Well, Dr. Pena, thank you again for taking the time out of your busy schedule to sew into our team. I know everybody's still on the line, and I mean, people are texting me right now how great this is, how much they've learned, and just thank you from the bottom of my heart. If there's anything I can ever do to repay the favor, any type of way, please let me know.
You're very welcome, Jared, and I hope to see you guys soon at the convention. Remember, we still have a good window of time to, just basically sign up people, take them to convention. That's your best odds of them taking off is just getting them to convention. Have them see what you've already seen will just change the way your whole business looks, even a few weeks after they go to convention. So events, promote. You guys have a great night. I just ran into an old friend here at the gym, so I'm going to say hi to her, and God bless you all.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Pena. Have a great night. Okay, so guys, I think all of our minds have been blown. We just heard from somebody who has 1 diamond in his business, 11 emeralds, 20 rubies, 40 gold directors, and hundreds of silvers. I'm going to watch this webinar over and over to take notes again, go over my notes, review some of the scripts, do anything I can to just apply what I learned tonight. Dr. Pena inspired us from San Antonio, and I almost feel like this webinar was better than San Antonio in a few ways. I mean, San Antonio, our event was great, but wow, I know everybody's mind is blown right now. Just to quickly end our webinar, because we're way over time, I'll just go over the events. You guys know we have Las Vegas coming up in April, Salt Lake City in August, Las Vegas in December. We're all going to Las Vegas. This is the next most important event right here, Green Valley Ranch Resort and Spa, April 15th and 16th. I know many of you already have your plane tickets. Great job, Shay Huggins and Matt Huggins, for getting your plane tickets today. There's the times, 9 to 5, 7 to 10. You're learning from the best in the United States market. This is a picture of us at last year's national celebration. It's so awesome being with everybody. It's a 3-course dinner. It's Friday night that's included. I'm getting a text that Saturday it's 12 to 5, and then we'll hang out on the strip and go to hang out in Vegas. It's going to be amazing. There's the ticket prices, $90, but you may have a free event pass for the 2-day event, and then $49 for the 3-course dinner at the awards gala. And that's where it is in Las Vegas. It's about 10 minutes from the strip. If you want to stay on site, there's the number, and you can call it tonight. If you don't have your room, please call tonight and get it, because the rooms are selling out, or you can stay anywhere. There's convention in August. That's the most important event. That's what Dr. Pena was talking about. Many of our team has their ticket a year in advance. Proud of each and every one of you. Las Vegas in December. Mark your calendars, December 1st through the 4th. Sweet Retreat. Already a year out. We're planning February 2nd through the 4th. Make sure you're there, ladies. And then Costa Rica. You can win Costa Rica, or you can go and pay to attend. It's a vacation with the USANA family, November 16th through the 20th. If you want to know how to win the trip to Costa Rica, that's the link, costarica.teamdsi.info. You can watch a 12-minute video on how you can win the trip to Costa Rica. If you're in Texas, we're having an event this Tuesday, March 15th at the home of Nellie and Mauricio Lacona. If you're in Utah this Thursday, there's going to be a home event. Corporate event at 7 p.m. Top leaders. If you need Dr. McNamara CDs, you can get them in bulk from myself or my parents, or order them at drmcnamara.com or ladmcnamara.com. And lastly, I want to encourage you to be a pro and be prepared. This is the picture of the bins I keep in the trunk of my car, and I'm always ready to help somebody new, and I want to encourage you to be prepared and be a pro. Thank you all for being on the webinar tonight. If there's anybody that's still on, I see a lot of people that are still on. I mean, look, we went way over, okay? We went 45 minutes over, but it was magical. This never happens. I would like to just recap with any of you who are still on. I would like to hear what you learned from the webinar, just in a nutshell. Does anyone want to raise their hand and share? Otherwise, I'm gonna choose some people. If you need to leave, by all means, get off the webinar. We understand, but I know we're all kind of in a afterglow. But I'm gonna just bring on. See, Krista Marquez. I'm gonna unmute you. Krista, are you there? Dad, are you able to unmute Krista?
I think we tried once before.
Yeah, you were having trouble.
She has to unmute herself. I just got a text from Rene Martinez. He said he'll talk. I'm going to unmute Rene. Rene, are you there?
Jared, can you hear me?
Yes. What was the highlight for you tonight?
Oh man, it was amazing. And you're right, it was so much more in detail than he was in the San Antonio event. And I'm gonna do like what you did. I'm gonna go back and watch it and listen to it over again, because I'm on my phone. I'm at work right now, and I'm listening to him saying all this stuff. And it's just so inspiring. It's amazing.
Bro, 40,000 per month, 400,000 a year.
That's just amazing. And all you have to do is just work. And just like all the jobs I've ever had in my life, I've worked so hard. Why not do it for myself?
Yeah. So true.
I mean, I have 2 associate prospects that I'm gonna use his approach, and I'm gonna make sure that they're serious. I'm gonna make sure that they're not gonna waste your time, and I'm gonna get it done.
I can tell it in your voice.
Yep.
And I admire that you're on this call, even though you're at work. You got your nice Apple headset on, and
I got my headset on. I've been working since I arrived at work at 6 o'clock. I'm gonna be here till 6 in the morning. And I mean, for anybody that has an excuse saying that they can't get on a webinar, or they can't do this, or they can't do that, they just need to just realize that this is for them. It's your business. Make of it what you want. You work at it as you want. And that, in the end, that's what's going to prove you from other people is your work ethic.
That's true. Work ethic. That's true.
I mean, I'm ready to call everybody in my phone.
Right.
Wow. That was awesome.
I
definitely have a couple associates that I need to get to listen to this that are already in my business.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, it's just amazing.
Well, thank you for leading by example, Rene, being on the webinar even when you're at work, and
working when I'm at work.
Right.
And I tell you what, I love the fact that he said that what really inspired him was he was going to throw his alarm clock away. I'm not a morning person. I'm not a morning person at all. And I can't wait to throw my alarm clock away.
Oh my gosh, that's wild. I thought you were a morning person.
Not at all. Not at all. Mm-mm. I mean, I have no problem getting up and getting going, but I'm not a morning person. I'm the one that cuts the daisies of the morning people.
Then we found a why. We found another why.
Oh man, this was a huge, most inspirational webinar that I've listened to.
Oh yeah. Oh hey, Renee, we got Krista Marquez. She unmuted herself. I just want to have her say words. Thank you, Renee.
You're welcome.
Krista.
Can you hear me?
Yes. I hear the baby.
Yeah. Yeah, she's starting to get a little fussy. She's waiting for me to go over there.
Aw. Well, quickly tell us what was your highlights from tonight?
I actually loved this. I thought it was really awesome. I took a whole bunch of notes. Um, I think what I took out of this the most was whenever he said, the only reason why I have, more money is because I've been told no more times. And that makes so much sense because, I mean, you have to talk to people so they'll actually know what this is. And I don't think a lot of people recognize the USANA name, and more people should because it's so much better than a lot of products out there, most of them. And that's why we have that book to show us so we can show other people too. Because I know I want people to be healthy. That's, my goal in life is to teach health to people. It's very important to me. So I think that the way he fused being successful and helping people, I think it was just really admirable, and it was very inspiring to me personally.
Oh yeah. I was writing down what you were just saying. Being told one more time that you want people to be healthy. Wasn't that wild how he talked about, as a doctor, he was catching people almost like at too late, when they were in crisis mode, and how
Yes.
as a USANA associate, he could catch them, 20, 30 years earlier, teach them about USANA, help them develop healthy habits now, and he's making more than medical professionals.
Yes. That was really awesome.
There's about 5 other people I want to introduce you to that are also like medical professionals that do the same thing Dr. Pena does. Anyway, Krista, I see you being a big leader for this company. So keep up the
Thank
great
you.
work. Let's
Thank
get
you, Dave.
Achiever done. Let's get this $400 check done for you.
Sounds good to me.
All right. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
All right, bye.
Speaking of achievers, I want to unmute Khalid and Barbara Medina from Texas. Are you there, Khalid?
No.
I just unmuted you, Khalid. You may need to call in from your phone. No, you're very muffled. Like not really. Try and call back in on your phone, please. We'll come back to you. How about Phyllis Walker? Are you still there, Phyllis? I just unmuted you. Maybe Phyllis is has walked away from her computer. I want to give the last word to Randy and Viola Krebs. I know we're way over time, but Mom and Dad, thank you for being patient with the process. I know we had a ton of golden nuggets. I just unmuted you, Mom and Dad. What were the highlights for you on the webinar?
Well, Jared, I just want to thank you for setting up these people that are Diamond Directors so that the team can hear the stories. I remember meeting Dr. Pena in Ireland I was there with you, and I didn't know his story, like seriously. And then I saw him at Sonaviv, and we became friends, and so we would talk, but I had no idea that he had all those hardships financially. And I was always baffled why he wasn't a doctor at Sonaviv anymore. And he just decided to have a USANA business. But I'm just totally inspired by his story. I can see why he's self-successful. I mean, he's definitely, talks from the heart and just loves people. You can just feel it from him, but I'm totally inspired.
Absolutely. That's wild that you didn't know his whole story till tonight, but you've known him for over 10 years.
Yeah, it's true.
I wonder how many other Diamond Directors we could get on our webinar that we could learn from like this.
Oh, probably all of them have some sort of story.
And I love that the fact that they're so open to share with other teams their stories. They're also willing to just give us their time because they're busy. I mean, they're busy and they could easily say no, but they're all just so genuinely kind and want to help everyone.
That's so true. Dad?
Yeah, just to listen to his story that, here's a doctor that is making a lot of money, but is basically broke.
Mhm.
for many, many months, and then realizing, wow, what do I have ahead? And saw the vision of what USANA could do for him, and took it and run with the help and more vision from his upline.
But it took many years too. So I just think it took many years for him to really get that vision and grab onto it. Even as an executive goal director, he felt like it wasn't really a business, he said. And until finally he saw it, somehow something, the light bulb turned on. And so you just, know it's going to take many years for a lot of people to actually run and just, really fly.
Yep.
And USANA is a lot of fun, but it is work. And it takes the work and dedication and consistency, and it will pay off. And it did for him.
Totally. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to give Khalid one last try.
Okay.
They wanted to say something. Khalid, are you there? I think he's having major problems with his computer because it's not. We cannot understand anything, bro.
Sorry.
We'll have to do it next week. We really want to hear from you and Barbara. But next week, we always have. So, all right, guys. Well, hey, 2-hour webinar. How did you like that?
It was worth it tonight. Definitely worth it.
That's right. Totally, absolutely, 100% worth it. All right. Well, I will talk to y'all soon. I think everyone's pretty much off the call. So we'll just end the recording, and good night and God bless.
Good night and God bless.
God bless.